Celebrating 10 years with Microsoft Satya Nadella. What's on the horizon for the tech giant? Join us as we explore the defining chapter and look ahead to the next phase under Nadella's leadership. Satya Nadella's first decade as Microsoft CEO was defined by the cloud. What's next? Written by Jordan Novett for CNBC. Satya Nadella's decade as Microsoft CEO has been marked by transformative achievements in cloud computing and AI, propelling the company's valuation from $300 billion to $3.06 trillion US dollars. His vision has reshaped Microsoft identity, embracing cloud computing and AI as the core pillars of his strategy, positioning the company as a global leader in the digital landscape. However, despite the success, Nadella faced challenges, including regulatory scrutiny and antitrust threats. Additionally, competition from traditional and emerging rivals, as does retaining top talent, presents further hurdles for Nadella. Moving forward, his role will involve seizing growth opportunities in a changing tech world, which means more investment in cloud computing, AI innovation, and strategic acquisitions to keep Microsoft ahead. Tony, you remember the Ballmer days, you remember the Gates days, and now we have the Nadella days. Where do you rank this? Give me your 1, 2, 3, 1 being the best, and 3 being Ballmer.
That was that was just a sneak punch in the side there. Okay, so let's be blunt. I grew up in Cupertino, California, where Apple Computers, their old campus, sat in the plum orchards on Stevens Creek Boulevard. So I used to literally go after school, and we'd sit with our bikes and skateboards, leaning up against the trees, go up in the plum trees, sit there and talk to each other and eat, and never understood why we all had the farts after, because we're eating plums the entire time, and just most fascinating thing, like kid stories. But then we watch Apple Computers really build up and expand, and we watch the war happening in real time between Microsoft and Apple. And at the same time, this is coming out of the Atari days. Personally, I thought Bill Gates was absolutely genius, steady, slow, steady, consistent. However, it wasn't nearly as revolutionary as the Steve Jobs era. And if we all remember the little, what was it called? The pilot. What was the writing device? We probably bought 15 of them.
The Courier? The Microsoft Courier?
No, is that what it was? I can't remember.
The Newton. It was Apple, right?
The Newton. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. So in my opinion, that was the best, because it was something revolutionary. It was addressing an entirely new frontier. There was nothing pre-established prior to that point. Then somewhere along the line, Steve Ballmer. And does anyone know, other than like Windows ME, what happened during the Steve Ballmer days? I don't know if that was actually him, but nothing really happened. And now Satya, like, he has corrected the course of Microsoft and moved it into the cloud, consolidated the different services. You heard about Microsoft getting broken up into gaming divisions and business level and entertainment level components. Well, he actually moved it to consolidate the technology on the back end, move it cloud, and frankly, I could not be more impressed with Satya and what he's done. And that's speaking from understanding where you had to go through to get there. So just my opinion. I'm rambling on. I love talking about this stuff. Ray, give me your interpretation about how much you loved Steve Ballmer.
So I look at it, and I mean, if you're going to compare Gates to Jobs, remember Gates never got fired by his own company, so there's that. But Jobs had Wozniak. Gates was a mix, right? Gates had his business acumen, but he was also an engineer, and he also sold stuff from Xerox PARC, but we're not going to talk about that. So, I mean, but those are the later. Let's not talk about that. But like, when I'm looking at Microsoft over the ages, I equate Bill Gates to the antitrust years, right? When Microsoft tried to dominate everything. They were the AT&T, the Bell South, the Southern Bell of those days. Then you had Ballmer, where you had divisions within Microsoft fighting against each other. And basically, you had corporate espionage from within the company, where they were at each other's throats. And
No
let's
one
just
knows this. I love that you. I love that you're bringing this up.
But okay, you bring up Windows Millennium, I'll bring up Windows Longhorn, right? Like, how long was that in the pipe too? And so those are all Ballmer days. And then, and he, by his own admission in interviews, he's talked about how he, how he made some missteps he maybe would not have made today. And then and he was crazy. He was the Tom Cruise jumping on the couch kind of guy. Like, that was Ballmer. And then you have Satya Nadella, which is back to the Gates days. Satya Nadella is a distinguished engineer. Satya Nadella worked Sun Microsystems before getting to Microsoft. Satya Nadella has engineer chops. And I think we're back to that, which is like you say, a more practical look at the upcoming technologies with an understanding of how to apply them, right? Jobs had the ideas, Wozniak got it done, Johnny Ives made it pretty. That was the dynamic. Microsoft always missed the getting it pretty part, but we'll skip that. We'll skip that for the next episode. But for now, thanks for tuning in. If you found this story eye-opening, catch MSP Dispatch every Tuesday and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern for more in-depth news coverage. Share your thoughts below, and remember to hit that subscribe button. See you next time.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.